I'm Tiffany Stead, and this is Amelia Hartley. In this video, we will review basic maneuvering, including forward, backward, stopping, and turning. A great way to practice these skills, once you've mastered the basic movements, is to set up obstacles, such as cones, and practice maneuvering through them. Please remember to keep safety as the #1 priority when practicing these skills. Amelia will now demonstrate.
The first skill that we're going to cover is moving forward in your wheelchair. While you may already know how to push your wheelchair forward, it's important to make sure that you are using the correct motion. Using this motion will protect your shoulders and your joints in your arm to allow you to push without pain for as long as possible over the course of your life in a wheelchair. Many people, when they get in a wheelchair, are tempted to maintain constant contact on their push rims, moving their hands forward and backwards as they push. This causes them to take many pushes and not coast in between each one. Unfortunately, this means you're taking many more pushes, which damages your shoulders and joints in your arms faster, shortening the amount of time before you develop pain and other issues. Instead, we want to make an oval motion with our hands and release at the bottom of our stroke, and then bring your hands back, allowing you to coast in between each push and get extra movement forward for each push that you take. I will now demonstrate this skill so you can see what it should look like. The next skill that we're going to discuss is moving backwards in your wheelchair. While you're unlikely to do a lot of moving backwards in your day-to-day life in a wheelchair, it's important to know how to do it effectively, and also it gives you good practice for understanding how your arms and your motions on the push wheel affect how your wheelchair moves. To move backwards, the most important thing to remember is to apply equal pressure on each push rims as you pull backwards, because otherwise you will not go straight backwards and you'll start turning. This looks like this, pulling backwards over again with equal speed on both arms. 2 tips to look out for is 1, you need to make sure that you look behind you and you're not going to hit anything. And then the other tip is that moving backwards can actually be a really good break for your shoulder muscles. If you're getting tight from moving forwards, having some time that you just move backwards will help release those muscles and may make that joint feel better. I will now demonstrate this skill. The next skill that we will discuss is stopping your wheelchair. It's important to do this correctly, or else you risk damaging your arm and shoulder, or your chair, or even both. Many people are tempted to stop their wheelchair when it's in motion using these brakes. However, this can damage your chair and cause you to not stop effectively. Instead, you should only use these brakes when your chair is already stopped in order to hold it in place, for instance, when you're stopped on a hill and don't want to roll down. If you're already in motion, there are 2 other ways to stop that are much better for your body and for your chair. The first one is to simply grab the push rims of your chair and hold them. This will cause you to stop very suddenly and allow you to stop efficiently in case something in front of you is blocking you or for any other reason you need to stop. If you just want to slow down or gradually slow down into a stop over a longer period of time, you can instead just apply some pressure to your push rims while not grabbing them completely. This will cause you to slow down and eventually stop if you have more time to do so. I will now demonstrate what both of these skills look like. The final introductory skill that we will cover in this video is turning. This is a critical skill for navigating in tight spaces as well as around the community. It all comes down to applying different pressure, speed, or direction on each of your 2 wheels. this will cause you to turn. But there are different ways to do this that cause a different speed and tightness of your turn. If you want to just turn in place, you can push forward on one wheel and pull the other, which will cause you to pivot in the direction of the wheel that you're pulling back on. If you want a little bit tighter turn, but still while you're moving forward, you will brake with one hand by pulling slowly over the push rim while continuing to push forward normally with your other hand. This will cause you to turn pretty sharply towards the hand that you are braking on. The final type of turn is much more gradual for when you're turning over a long distance. In this type of turn, you will still be pushing forward with both hands, but you will be faster on one of your hands than the other. This will cause you to turn towards the slower pushing hand,